Although there's no denying that the street racing world looks exciting and incredibly adrenaline-inducing from afar, it's not easy to get a first-hand view of what really happens in it. That was until Street Outlaws hit our TV screens in 2013, with a success which has only increased since. Besides raising people's love for cars and speed, the cast undeniably did a good job at gaining attention, whether it was for good or bad reasons. One of those cases is Ryan Martin, who gained the audience's approval just as quickly as he escalated the list spots. Nonetheless, the fact that he wasn't in Street Outlaws from the start left many questions open about Ryan, especially when it comes to his finances and personal life. So what does Ryan do for a living, and where does he work when he's not racing? Keep with us to know all. It's so easy to be distracted by the amazing cars, the rivalries, and the waiters that we sometimes forget to ask important questions, such as where does the driver's money come from? Or what jobs do they have away from TV? Fortunately for us, the cast of Street Outlaws doesn't hide this type of personal information from the public. And in the particular case of Ryan Martin, his business interests are even better known. Long before his appearances on TV made him an internationally renowned racer, Ryan already owned his Oklahoma-based car repair shop, B&R Performance, founded in 1999 with his friend Billy Hayes. His business is specialized in modifying race cars, both for the streets and the tracks, allowing Ryan to maintain a close contact with drivers and race organizers at the same time. After being in the industry for so long, it's unsurprising that Ryan's business is quite sought after in the field. With their Fireball Performance cars, the shop offers a wide variety of options, starting at almost $9,000 for basic SUV modifications, going up to over $50,000 for their Fireball Camaro 900 package. Custom builds are also accepted by B&R Performance. Knowing how well it's going for his business, it's no surprise that Ryan can afford racing on the side without any issues. There's no such thing as a phenomenal car without a great driver. However, Ryan Martin's Fireball Camaro has a name for itself, and it goes beyond what you see in Street Outlaws. Although appearing in the series has given Ryan immense fame, prior to it, his 2010 fifth-generation Camaro was already a main attraction in race exhibitions and events around the US. Ryan acquired the Fireball in 2015, and it was thanks to him that it became known as the world's fastest street-legal Camaro in just a couple of years. Basically a celebrity on its own, the Fireball is often exhibited in Street Outlaws-related events. As well, the car is the main topic of Ryan's YouTube channel, which has over 60,000 subscribers, and offers a more detailed view of everything related to the Camaro, such as modifications and races. The interest in the Fireball is so huge that Ryan has built a brand around it, selling die-casts, t-shirts, and hats with its logo. The car's website even replaced that of his business, B&R Performance, leading us to assume that the car became more profitable than his own business endeavors. Now, when it comes to reality TV, nothing is for certain, which is why it's never surprising when a star suddenly leaves the show without explanation. However, this is fortunately not the case with Ryan Martin. His debut in Street Outlaws was so successful that he not only became one of the most loved drivers in it, but also very quickly achieved a good position on the list, securing him a stable spot in the show even back then. Nowadays, he's shoulder to shoulder to be on the list's top with Big Chief. He also hasn't had any problem snatching the #1 spot on the No Prep Kings leaderboard. Although there hasn't been any new Street Outlaws seasons since the 14th ended in 2019, the show's disappearance from TV screens is probably related to the COVID-19 restrictions that kept drivers away from the streets in the last 2 years. For a show so successful, it's certain that it'll be renewed in the near future. As for whether Ryan will join upcoming seasons, it's still unconfirmed, but considering he's still actively appearing in No Prep Kings, the possibilities of seeing him again in the main show are high. Just like any other experienced driver in the field, Ryan Martin has a long history with cars. The first auto he built for racing was a 1989 Fox Body Mustang GT he bought at 15 years old. As he recalled in an interview with Wiseko, he had long been saving for a car by the time he found it, and even though it already had 50,000 miles on it, about 80,000 kilometers, the fact that its previous owner had done some work on it made it easier for Ryan to enter the local street race world not long afterwards. Ryan eventually modified the Mustang GT and actually kept it for a couple of decades until 2015, when he bought his now famous Fireball Camaro. However, his second race car required the expertise of his B&R Performance's crew and best custom parts to convert it to what it is nowadays, while his Camaro has become the perfect fit for his street racing endeavors. It's a different story for his no-prep races. That's why in 2019, he bought a Camaro ZL1, which understandably made people crazy back then. The purpose-built Camaro has some remarkable features, such as precision 98mm turbocharger and a Stage 4 engine Proline Racing 481X, finally becoming what Ryan always wanted for the tracks. Many people watch Street Outlaws for its entertainment factor, but it's undeniable that the most hopeful fans have dreamed of following the series' example by showing off their own race driving skills on the streets. However, there's no such thing as a precise way to enter the street racing world. Some start in it for the money, the love for speed, or simply because life put them there. In the case of Ryan Martin, taking his 1989 Mustang JT to race on the Oklahoma streets was something that just happened. Although he was born in California, his family moved to Oklahoma when he was 2 years old, and growing up so near to the famous Route 66 evidently had an effect on Ryan, who developed a love for speed so deep that it eventually resulted in him buying the perfect car for it in his teens. Ryan was still attending high school when he met his now business associate Billy Hayes, with whom he worked in a car shop before founding B&R Performance some years later. Ryan Martin's debut in Street Outlaws occurred just as naturally as his beginnings in racing. Being in the Oklahoma street scene, both as a driver and car shop owner, meant that he was well acquainted with everyone there, especially with the guys in the show. What stopped Ryan from joining Street Outlaws in the earliest seasons was the lack of free time, aside from the fact that there wasn't any space for pro mods in the show back then. Finally committing to appear on TV in 2018 was a matter of making sure his business was well managed while he's away filming or attending events. That also means he's not as present in the B&R Performance physical location as he used to be, but that is only expected considering how time-demanding his hobby is. Eventually, Ryan joined No Prep Kings, which turned out to be his favorite show. In his words, both street racing and no preps are equally as fun, but what makes the latter more memorable is the opportunity to race in front of the fans and meeting people from all over the country. Although race driving is primarily a hobby for people who love speed and cars, the truth is that being rewarded monetary-wise is probably a big motivation for many drivers to join in. Wagers from casual races can get Street Outlaws drivers from a couple of dollars to thousands if winning. Prize pools are well stocked, even if the level of difficulty is higher. Considering these numbers and how expensive car mods and casual fixings look, it's normal to wonder how much every race actually costs drivers. Fortunately for us, Ryan Martin has partially cleared up some questions on this topic. In his words, it's not easy to estimate on average how much he spends racing, as factors such as the type of race and its difficulty will define costs. Nonetheless, it's certain that every race results in him spending at least $500 on mechanical fixings. These numbers were apparently higher during his earliest years running on no prep mode with his Fireball Camaro, as the damage the track had on said car's mechanics was more severe than he had expected, eventually leading him to use the Camaro ZL1 instead. While we have an idea of how much Ryan Martin earned from races he wins, there are details about his finances on which we don't have a grasp, such as his income from B&R Performance and its related business, events, exhibitions, and any paid ads he might be featuring on his social media. Nonetheless, we have an idea of how much he earns throughout his appearances in Street Outlaws and its spin-offs. Reportedly, the show's main cast members' salaries go up to $30,000 per episode, making their income from every season quite impressive, but understandable, considering how popular the series is. Knowing this, it's safe to estimate Ryan's net worth at over $2 million as of late 2021. But there's no doubt that his fortune will keep growing in the following years. The general public's interest in their favorite celebrities' personal lives certainly has no end. While Street Outlaws cast doesn't usually make a big deal of their most personal endeavors, that only seems to feed their audience's curiosity all the more. Although not many details about Ryan's life outside racing have been disclosed, they're enough to give us an idea of what's with his family and romantic endeavors. As it happens, Ryan has been off the market for years. He's in a serious relationship with Cherish Casey, who not only shares his love for cars, but is the mother of his only son, Dax. The couple apparently met on a blind date in 2015 and have been inseparable ever since. On her part, Cherish works alongside Ryan in B&R Performance and accompanies him during his trips racing around the US, something which Ryan has admitted he appreciates, as it allows him to share unique experiences with his son, making it evident that not being separated from his family for long periods of time is another pro in his profession. Reality TV is equally as loved as it's hated. The most recurrent arguments against it usually have to do with its authenticity, alleged stage scenes, and unnecessary drama. While it's difficult to say if there's any truth in these accusations, Ryan Martin took it upon himself to clear out the misconceptions about Street Outlaws. In his words, there isn't really a way to stage a show about racing, street or track, but also admitted that certain details such as doubling the points or the comedy bits are set up for entertainment purposes. Nonetheless, he assured that important parts of the show such as the crashes and fights are genuine. Although no one has a reason to distrust Ryan in this matter, sources not related to the series affirm that every race is not only planned beforehand, but also completely legal. As it happens, prior to the events, every city's council reportedly issues permits allowing the races to take place, which usually also include the police department's supervision. These security measures not only ensure there won't be any problems in the general vicinity where the races take place, but also make sure that Discovery won't have any legal issues resulting from it. Does this make Street Outlaws a completely staged show? Not by a long shot, but it surely makes us question even more what we see on TV.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.